So, out of many grammar concepts that we need to remember for SAT writing, the first thing that you have to remember or you have to know is the subject verb agreement. This is basically to find out if the subject of a sentence and the verb of the sentence match. So, how do we do this? The first step is to identify the subject and the verb. Simple. When you have a sentence, you have to know what the subject is and know what the verb is. You circle that, and then you find out whether they are. You just identify them, and then the second step is to find out whether they match. What does it mean to match? It's basically looking whether if this means if the subject is singular, the verb also has to be singular, and if the subject is plural, the verb also has to be plural. This means when you have the sentence, he runs every morning. He runs every morning. Basically, he is the subject here, and runs is the verb here. Okay, you have identified them. He is a plural pronoun. Pronoun, and it's a subject pronoun. Runs is also a plural form of this verb. So this is the most simple example of what we just did, but more complicated ones are the ones that you may be hard to identify the subject or the verb. See, list of books is on the table. Oh, what's on the table? Books. So why isn't books a plural and the verb also has to be plural? No. The subject noun in this case is the list, because of books is a prepositional phrase. So any kinds of prepositional phrases or adjectives or adjective that describes the subject, those you could just think, pretend that's not there. Just erase them. And just say the list is on the table, right? So list is a singular subject, and is also singular. So that means that they match. And there are some more complicated pronouns that you kind of have to know. I think it's hard to memorize everything, but I think just by looking it up several times before you take the test, probably helpful for you to identify the subject. So these are usually the subjects. So when you have a sentence, these are the words that come out as the subject noun. This means if any of these words come out as the subject, the verb also has to be in singular. And if the plural nouns come as a subject, the verb also has to be plural. And these ones are a little bit tricky ones. These are dependent ones that can either be singular or plural depending on the prepositional phrases. So if you look at this sentence, most of the students bring their own lunchbox. What does this mean? Well, you said take away the prepositional phrase. So most, and why would we ever care about the prepositional phrase? Well, in this case, the prepositional phrase matters. Depending on what comes here, it chooses whether to use bring or brings. Right? So that's all about subject-verb agreement. You basically have to find out the subject and the verb and find out whether the two match.